Hey, Bundle Baby, we should get together and, hang out, go get some pizza at 2 o'clock in the morning. Um, I stumbled across a video, um, somewhere else. I figured I'd do a real quick, sweep, because sometimes I do that. I'll type shit in and just, make my scan, and oh, there's something, boom, 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 just sort of on a whim, just every now and then. And I stumbled across a YouTube channel. But you had to do the stuff because it was set up, faggot fucking self-driving crypto, specs. So you had to, do that as. Um, and I, save I just do my shit because there's some decent stuff there. The one chick, okay, whatever. No, not really. She doesn't really have an ass crack, like at all. The other two are in, full back, but got that nice late 80s, early 90s, high cut, up the back, But like I have that example, that chick in the green and the Buck Rogers and crew, you need enough material where it can be fully wedgified all the way in and all the way up and still have material on either side down low, but then have that nice. I should probably post it. The Weekend at Bernie's 2, where they're walking and that girl in the yellow, what's his name? He's all, hello, ladies. And you can see, it's wedgified and all the way up, and it's kind of jiggle and wiggle. You can't tell, but it's got nice up down movement, and it's kind of like it looks almost like it's moving back and forth, because of the way she walks and the way her butt cheeks, move when she walks. And that's just her like walking. She's not really accentuating her hips like they do, like runway models and shit. So just is what it is. Um, Maybe I'll post that one of these days. That one, because I've got all kinds of shit. I mean, I got butt cleavage shots and all that shit. And like I said, I modify shit. Like these chicks, at these bars and whatnot. So you get really, good bounce, where the one kind of comes down and then this one, and of course, me being me, I crudely yet very effectively, I'll slow that so I can get that, and then record that, and then speed it up, and so I get this kind of, I can, like I said, if I let it work itself out, let the price come down and all that shit, maybe, 2 or 3 years from now, maybe I'll get into that AI shit. Oh yeah, I forgot I'll be married by then. My loving and adoring wife will provide to me all of my sexual wants, needs, and desires. Yeah. But anyway, so I made a folder. It's called 3 Different Butt Types. And as I've said before, I'll make this quick. Chicks, broads, dames, they come in so many different shapes and sizes. Well, I've said this before. Guys can come in different sizes, but well, I don't know. There's a lot of weird looking dudes these days. But every chick has a frame, and then they have so many different parts that are bolted to that frame, right? So, ass cheeks, what kind? Are they teardrop shaped? Are they round? Are they floppy? Are they pure muscle? Does she have a big ass with an ass crack that goes, at least 3/4 of the way up, yet those cheeks do not move? Versus, is she a thinner chick, in spandex pants, no less, who yet still, has a shapely ass with, just the perfect blend of muscle, fat, and ginkgo biloba, because chicks store ginkgo biloba in their ass. Apparently, I did not know that. And it's just the perfect blend of, yeah, you know. But pussy hammock. Does she got one, or she just got, fucking flat, fucking hatchet wound? It's like, There's some chicks out there that look like fucking Barbie dolls, you know? It's just like, what the fuck? But, just everything. Even the crease where ass meets thigh, depending on what kind of ass cheek she has, it can be like, damn, nah, that really goes good with the rest of yous. And other times it's just like, you just ain't got the shape. So, do ass cheeks, come together, or do they kind of splay out? So it's like if you were looking at her from behind, are you looking at the thong pussy hammock if she's got the right puss? Whatever. Tits, same thing. How do they hang? Shape. Do they sag? Nipple, areola, shit like that, Her mouth, her, just everything. So, and chicks, they got this there. You put 10 chicks in a room, you got 10 completely different body types. You put 10 dudes in a room, a lot of them are going to be similar. I mean, you got your string bean, types. You got your, round types. You got your, fit types. The swimmer body types. You got the, bulky. But generally speaking, dudes are just, what the hell, fuck it. So, anyway. You gonna start talking about yourself now? King Strong Boy? No. But I have noticed that, like I said, this job, I use my arms and stuff a lot. And I've just noticed, I'm getting stronger and faster. I'm doing my job faster. I'm like more, it's just something, like I said, that's how I do. I just notice shit, but so. When I get into the loader, I won't be getting these free workouts during the day, but I'm not going to lose, any ground. I'm going to keep that going, so that'd be cool. So, because I'm going to be in the loader sooner than I thought, so I'm kind of going to miss it. This humble, what have you. Because like I said, that's that like old man strong type stuff, that I'm developing. I'm not gonna be doing that anymore. I'm just gonna be lifting weights. But here's the thing. I actually stumbled across that. That was an old like Roman training. It was actually digging ditches. You believe that fucking shit? I think I forgot to mention this, pretty sure. I don't. It must have been AI, heard me talking about that because it fucking popped up. Yeah, I forgot to mention that. Well, shit. So, I think I will incorporate that. Um, shit. You know how they like do the ropes and the tires? Maybe I'll do that. Maybe I'll just go out there because there's this one thing I have to like shovel under this thing. So it's like I sit down and I shovel and I'll do this way and then I'll do the other way. So I switch my arms and whatnot. And it is, it's like it works your biceps, your triceps, your shoulders, your chest, and your twisting. So it's working your core. It's like, it's, I'm just doing my job, but it's like shit. And it's like I realized, a couple days ago, it's like, I mean, I'm already a beast anyway, right? But it just, like I said, it's like shit, I'm doing this faster and with like less effort now. Shit. I don't know about this whole, loader operator thing, man. I don't know, man. But, yeah. So, like I said, my body responds well, You give me a hard job, I'm gonna get there. You know, if I need to catch up to it, I will catch up to it, and I will meet it, and I will continue. So, as far as that whole 100 push-ups thing, yeah, I kind of forgot about that. Kind of put that on the back burner. But yeah, just give me a month. Give me a month, baby. At any given day, I got 30 days in front of me. I mean, those days aren't guaranteed, obviously. But yeah, don't you worry, Farkles. Yeah. And that is a feather in my cap. I did not know that. I did not know that that was like strong. But I won't. Like I said, gladiator physique. That's what I'm going for. You know, and I got. I'll get there. Like I said, I mean it humbly, but I say it, you know, assuredly, I need to not waste this. Hey, give me a couple weeks. Yeah. Like that whole me in 1 year, and it's, what was that guy's name? Good God, man. You fucking asshole. But, Jay Cutler or something like that. Got the right muscle belly, as it's called. I got the full muscles. Because I'm thinking about this because I stopped by Grubway on my way home, right? And this dude, oh, God, I don't know if he had like some sort of disease or something, but he was just such a skinny, frail dude. And it got me thinking, my frame, I'm like on the shorter side of things, right? So pretty powerful frame, if I want to develop that. I can move my body really well. I fall really well for some reason. I mitigate damage very, very good. And I dissipate energy. These goddamn, steel-toed boots. This happened about, I don't know, maybe 3 weeks ago. I tumbled over a fucking pallet like some sort of clodhopper. And I had my walkie-talkie on my left hip. And I'm not trying to brag, I do mean this humbly because I live beside myself, right? I get up, I dust myself off like, dude, that was a pretty good fall. I think most people probably would have like injured themselves, but you didn't. But as I falled, I'm like, okay, I'm committed. I can't recover from this, so I have to, salvage this, right? I'm falling. I'm past the point of no return. My foot is caught, blah, blah, blah. So, I made the conscious effort to protect my walkie-talkie on my left hip. So I twisted, to the left, put my arm out, actually did like a somersault roll. My fucking hard hat didn't even fall off, for crying out loud, and it doesn't have a strap. Did a literal somersault, like with my, like we used to do it in wrestling, where you'd kind of tumble forward, you'd jump and like, boom, So, I don't know. And I asked, the loader, I'm like, did you see me fall? He's all, no. You may have been lying. Because I did. I just casually got up and just sort of looked. And then just kept walking. You see that, you fucker? Part of me is kind of impressed. Part of me kind of hopes you saw that. The other part is like, God damn, I don't know if I saw that. Oh shit, all that stupid stuff. Falling out of my truck, the one time at the my other company. Again, it hurt worse than I thought it would. And I actually appreciated it for some weird reason. First thing, swear to God, got up and was like, man, I hope nobody saw it. Then I'm like, okay, cool. And I was actually kind of scuffed up a little bit because I fell on the asphalt. And then with my last company, fell like an envelope, being deposited into a what have you, stepped off to onto the platform for the vacuum. Boom, 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 and again, I'm falling. I'm like, okay, what could go wrong here? Shin, so boom, 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 kind of bounce around and stuff, and it's like I mitigate damage very well. I know it sounds stupid, but dagwam it, nobody falls like me, man. And again, first thing, I'm kind of like, I'm just like a, little bit of room, I get up. Fuck, I hope nobody saw that. That hurt a little bit, but not a lot. Yeah, but anyway, I think it's funny. So, yeah. And again, one time, it was a long time, like on ice, whoop, and, first thing I thought is, okay, I'm gonna hit. I gotta protect my head because you hit in your neck. Even though you kind of you still kind of gotta have just the right amount of give, right? So falling, hit the ground, protect the head. But like I was boxing with the concrete or something, just yeah. So yep. That and I shovel well. Talking about that earlier. It's almost kind of comical. I do because I'll do this way, and then I'll switch and I'll do the other way, and I'll switch hands, and I will literally I like. It's hard for me to explain, but and I'm not trying to show off or anything, but I do. I like switch, and I slide the shovel like in my hand, and it turns around, and then spoop, and then I'm shoveling this way, and then boop, shoveling this way. So I'm moving this way, so I got my left hand on the top of the shovel, and then I whoop, slide it, boom, grab it, and then my right hand is now on the top, and I'm twisting this way, and then I'm twisting that way. So I'm like ambidextrous or whatever the word is when it comes to, and I'll be walking, and I gotta hurry and get back around, so I'll toss the shovel in the air, switch my hand around, and grab it, and I'll not only do that, but I'll make sure that the shovel is pointing out away from me. And I'm not doing it to show off, it's just a matter of like convenience. So, I know it probably sounds kind of pathetic, but those are two things I do very well. Shovel with a little bit of showmanship, but like I said, it's practical. You know what I mean? Boom, boom, onto this side. Okay, like a typewriter. Slide, boom. Okay, back the other way. Slide, boom, back the other way. And I fall very well. So, what can I do with these skills? I don't know. Is the circus hiring? But I had a hitchhiker in my truck once who was a fire juggler. And I had a guy who was a cyborg. This is 008, like a 007, just a little bit better. Killed somebody because he said he like killed another spy, which means he murdered another bum. Probably shouldn't have had him in my truck. He worked for the government. He wandered the wilderness documenting bugs. I just bet you did. And he was responsible for launching the sewage into outer space, all the world's sewage, and he had the codes, the launch codes. And I remember talking to him. Katie Bug, this is for you. I don't think you heard this story. I'm like, well, so how do they launch it, right? And I'm just like talking with this dude. And it's like they just sort of launch it. I didn't want to elaborate because I didn't want to push my luck and like back him into a corner and like maybe trigger something, that like embarrassed him or something. And now I have a former 008, in my truck who's like, you are the enemy, and whatever. And he would, because I took him to Walmart to buy some clothes and food and whatnot. Had him in my truck for a couple days. Don't remember where I was taking him. But bad idea. Bad idea. Very bad idea. But whatever. And Yeah, he would push buttons and shit. You know, anytime we were near anything with buttons, he was doing his job, man. He was entering those codes, and somewhere, you know, out of sight, out of mind, a big blast of sewage just went into outer space, apparently. Oh, and he was half cyborg. Yeah, government got a hold of his ass, took care of that. But yep, that was a certified crazy son of a bitch. Yeah. This one guy had a little puppy pit bull. That was cute. His name was Iris. It was like a light brown, and they had like a brown eye and a blue eye. Holy shit. Yeah. I guess that's all I gotta say. Bye bye. Have a good day. Hey. Go check out those asses. Yeah. Oh my hose. So let me tell you what makes me horny. Any of you broads make the grade, do you? Yeah. That one chick, yeah, in the thong, that she can go. The rest of you two, they make the cut. But I don't make them like I used to. Humans, I mean. Nah. Bundle baby, how's your face? Wait, let me think about that. I forgot. I have a stalker? Nah, I don't know. Like I said, whatever. And she wishes I was talking about her. You do a lot, actually. Sometimes. She ain't got no ass like that. She's a fucked up, you know, thick freak of nature thanks to the Greek god she's with. Fucking faggot. You know? You'd expect, did I already mention this? You'd expect more from, you know, an immortal, you know, dude like that, you know, does amateur stand-up comedy on the weekends, volunteers, you know, 4 hours every Saturday, you know, builds Habitats for Humanity. Did I already say this? Well, if I had, I'm already sorry, but and then on Sunday, you know, he alternates, you know, a couple hours at the senior home, a couple hours at the somewhere else, senior home. Oh yeah, homeless shelter. Also volunteers at the you know, pet homeless shelter. Gives speeches, reads to kids, and shit like that. And there's Mrs. Butthead in the background, just like just every day, just on cloud nine. That's my man. Look what your fucking man did to you. You know? Because like I said, when she showed up, she was plickety-plack. If memory serves. You know, it still had the goofy look and all that. And now look at her. But it doesn't matter because, you know, but it's just kind of weird how shit works out. Man. People, man. Fucking, you know, Greek god or not, that dude is a fucking fag. Look what you did. Look what you did to your faithful, obedient little love interest there. Your fugly duckling, who loves and adores you, would do anything for you, with you, about you, with enthusiasm and vigor. And that's what you had her do. The fuck is wrong with you? You ain't shit on my planet, by the way. That Greek god bullshit. Yeah, well, everybody's a fucking quote unquote. We're all Spartan warriors on my planet. Little dude. And all the women? Oh, man. They're out of your league, bruh. Actually, yeah, they're out of your league. You don't think right, my mans. Fuck you.